will come to God in prayer. Far beyond than what we realize, and that is why we're going. Them will agree or disagree. So we need to.
I have a script for today, but firstly, let me just say a few words as the global climate champion for COP23. This is part of the Paris Agreement. There are two global climate champions every 2 years. Currently, it's Madam Hakim El-Laiti, the former Minister for Environment in Morocco, and of course me as Minister for Agriculture and Rural Development and Disaster Management in Fiji. I'm indeed pleased to be here because this is a partnership workshop. The Global Climate Action Agenda is all about partnerships. We all know that when we refer to COPs, Conference of the Parties are made up of our governments. And unfortunately, all other stakeholders are non-party members. And a lot of action agenda activists, they hate the word non-parties. Because we are all part of a government. And we all share that responsibility. Not only sharing the responsibility, but we are all affected by the effects of climate change as well. So the work that we do as global climate champions is all about fostering that partnership for the implementation of the Paris Agreement. Our leaders have endorsed, they have ratified the Paris Agreement. Well done. And they have committed to what we call NDCs, Nationally Determined Contributions. And for us, Fiji, we have contributed in terms of our NDC. We are small emitters, that is a fact, but it doesn't take away the responsibility that we have to share as well. And in our NDCs particularly, I think the biggest component is energy and of course transport and other things. And government is keen to be renewable come 2030. We are working towards that. But I want to encourage these partnerships to be continuing. That's probably the key message that I would like to leave with you today. I'm glad that children are involved. Because whether it's the Paris Agreement, which is on climate change, whether it's the Sendai Framework, which is on disaster risk reduction, or whether it's the Addis Ababa financing agreements on development, the destination is sustainable development. That's all that we are aiming at. Sustainable development. Sustainable development was defined back in the United Nations in the early 80s as meeting the needs and aspirations of today without compromising the future. Unfortunately, I say this again, unfortunately, we are meeting the needs and aspirations of today, but compromising the future. I always say this, in Fiji and in most developing countries, we are all about development. Development is good, particularly when it brings economic gains. But development is not all about money. There are environmental implications on development. There are social implications of development. It's not all about money. Money is good and we need money for development. But, ladies and gentlemen and children, meeting the needs and aspirations of today without compromising the needs and aspirations of the future. Unfortunately, we are focusing on today only. We do not care about the future. And I'm thankful that our children are here and they will be participating today to remind us of our responsibility towards that safer environment for our children in the years to come. Unfortunately, 2004, if I remember correctly, Clara can correct me on this, 2009 to 2014 probably was the decade of education for sustainable development. We've gone past that. But it does not take away the fact that we need to use the education centers, not only as centers of academic excellence, but this is where we advocate sustainable development issues. Environment, disaster risk reduction, climate change. It's all about responsibilities, because this is the best place to start. And I am thankful about the partnership. The Coral Coast Tourism Association plays a very significant role in this partnership. As I've stated, the Paris Agreement is not about the parties. It's about the responsibility of regions and states. It's about the responsibilities of the private sector. It's about the responsibility of civil society, non-government organizations, faith-based organizations, individuals. We'll all have a role to play. I always say this, I am the global champion for climate change, but we are all champions of climate change. Because we all have to take ownership and we all have to take responsibility. I think I've said enough. The UNICEF Deputy Representative, again I will not attempt your name, madam. Forgive me for that. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mrs. Talonga, the Deputy Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts, Mr. Peter Habgut, the General Manager of the Outrigger on the Lagoon Resort, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Nisapolo Vinaka, Namaste and a very good morning and welcome to you all. Thank you for the kind words of welcome accorded to me and of course the traditional welcome ceremony. I am indeed privileged to be here today to officially launch the Climate Change Disaster Resilience Project. I wish to first of all commend the collaboration between the University of the South Pacific and UNICEF for partnering with the government through the Ministry of Education on this initiative to develop this awareness program in our schools. Ladies and gentlemen, Fiji and the other Pacific Island countries are experiencing the impacts of climate change in the rising sea levels, tropical cyclones, sea surges, droughts, and floods. These experiences led to the global call for action, and now Fiji becomes the first Pacific Island country to take up the presidency of the Climate Change Conference of the Parties of COP23 for this year. This is an opportunity to showcase Fiji and the Pacific Island countries' experiences on the front line of climate change and tell the world our stories. More importantly, it is an opportunity to engage and educate our people on the need to be prepared for the oncoming impacts of climate change and to advocate action globally to significantly reduce carbon emissions. Climate change is recognized as a key driver of disasters. According to the Center for Research and Epidemiology of Disasters, 7 out of 10 disasters are climate related. Studies on disaster trends and the likely consequences of climate change suggest that 175 million children are likely to be affected by climate change related disasters every year alone. The Pacific is one of the most disaster-prone regions in the world, with extremely high percentage of each country's population and infrastructure vulnerable to disasters. The World Risk Index indicates that 4 Pacific Islands are in the top 10 natural disaster most high-risk countries among the 171 countries covered by the World Risk Index in 2015. However, these countries combined high exposure to disasters with low capacity to manage the resulting risks. Disaster-related economic losses in the Pacific Island countries as a percentage of GDP are higher than almost anywhere else in the world. Of the 20 countries in the highest average annual disaster losses relative to COP in the world, 8 are in the Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, in Vanuatu, average annual disaster loss is equivalent to 80% of social expenditure. Average annual disaster loss is equivalent to 59% of annual social expenditure in Tonga and 43% in Fiji. In 2015 alone, between 50 to 60% of the schools were destroyed in Vanuatu after tropical cyclone Pam, with many classes continuing to be held in temporary learning spaces for more than a year. For us here in Fiji, after tropical cyclone Winston in 2016, about 30% of basic education schools, including early childhood centers, were affected. On average, schools were closed between 10 to 30 days, and Cyclone Winston remains one of the strongest cyclones to hit the southern hemisphere, devastating communities in parts of Fiji. For many in the direct path of Winston, stories of resilience and strength emerged from the ruins. Schools run in tents, people making the most of rationed food while replanting their crops. Temporary and then permanent housing. We in Fiji have a story to tell the world and to call for accelerated action on climate change. Under the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, children have inalienable rights in all circumstances, including disasters, when they are at their most vulnerable, and the right to participate in decisions that ultimately affect them. That Convention on the Rights of the Child and disaster risk reduction are mutually reinforcing. While schools might be greatly affected by disaster, the education system is also key to reducing risk and strengthening disaster resilience. It is the critical thread connecting humanitarian assistance and development programs to enable children to realize their right to education. Disaster risk reduction helps build long-term resilience of the education system and ultimately reduces the impact of climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, the initiative by the University of the South Pacific's School of Education, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and UNICEF, have considered voluntary actions through promoting best practices and initiatives that have impact on the environment, and in addition, resilient awareness due to climate changes as a way to prompt our younger generation and the community the practical and sustainable ways of combating climate crisis. Such actions are shown through participation and commitment from Fijian young children in early childhood centers, primary and secondary schools, including special education school students, through a one long month of school-based environmental awareness. This includes live showcase performances from your school students as a way of your support towards a better, healthier, and sustainable Fiji, and ultimately contribute to a healthier and sustainable world. This awareness is envisaged to not be a one-off campaign, but to be seen as part of one's long-term knowledge of climate change resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, this week is the National Climate Change Week, spearheaded by the COP23 committee. I am reliably informed that school-based activities were organized and aimed to educate our primary, special schools, high school and tertiary students on climate change, and to engage them to take action. It also aims to ensure that they contribute to the message that goes with the President of COP23 for global action to climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, as a way forward, we will be launching at the Education in Emergency, or the EIE, and School Safety Policy at national, district, and schools level today. The policy provides a guide for education in emergencies from 3 pillars that stems from the comprehensive school safety framework consisting of 1, the school disaster management, 2 is the safe school facilities, and 3, risk reduction education. The policy provides an enabling environment for action at all levels and clear guidelines on education in emergencies and reducing the impacts of climate change through disaster risk reduction activities and strengthening resilience of the education system and school communities. In that regard, I am indeed honored to announce the launch of the Climate Change Disaster Resilience Project and initiatives in Fiji. The Pacific Island countries, again, are on the front line of climate change as one of the most disaster-prone regions in the world. 3 out of the top 10 most at-risk countries for natural disasters in the world are in our region in the Pacific. It is of utmost importance that we work together to strengthen disaster resilience in our communities, to protect our communities and the future of our children. This must be a priority for governments and donors so that communities are able to better respond to future cyclones, floods, and tropical storms. The Pacific Island countries are exceptionally vulnerable to natural hazards and regularly disrupt schooling, and we must increase our schools' ability to manage these risks. There is an urgent need for education systems to integrate disaster risk reduction measures and plans to ensure staff and students are prepared for any possible disaster. In order to combat climate change and its impact in the school communities in the Pacific, and in line with the call for action in SDG 13, I have much pleasure in launching these 3 school initiatives this morning. Firstly, the Education in Emergencies and School Safety Policy will be put in action in all schools in Fiji. This policy is a guide for the Ministry of Education and schools in Fiji to proactively put in place initial safety measures to ensure the safety of the whole school community, which includes students, teachers, and all children. Secondly, the school-based disaster risk resilience preparedness project supported by UNICEF will be implemented by the Ministries of Education in Fiji, Vanuatu, Solomon Islands, and Tonga. School-based disaster risk resilience and resiliency preparedness activities will focus not only on preparedness, but also strive to develop knowledge to institutionalize a culture of safety and resilience among children, teachers, and school communities. And thirdly, a children's forum will be established in Fiji at district, divisional, and national level. The Convention on the Rights of the Child states that children's rights are protected at all circumstances, including disasters, when they are the most vulnerable. This includes the right to participate in decisions that ultimately will affect them. The Children's Forum will provide an opportunity for children to voice their concerns and ideas on climate change and disaster preparedness actions. With those few words, ladies and gentlemen, I have much pleasure in officially launching the Climate Change Disaster Resilience Project. And thank you indeed. God bless you.
Once again, please put your hand together for Nairobi. School
he. All right? So ready? 1, 2, 3, ha ha, he. Let's try it again, huh? 1, 2, 3, ha ha, he.